So last week, several million people, including me, did something incredibly stupid. We purchased a shadow-dropped Bethesda title at its launch without seeing a single review beforehand, nor having access to a day one patch. And from my experience before now, expecting a Bethesda game to work well at its launch is kind of like expecting me to remember when my wife makes plans for the two of us. It would be super convenient for all parties involved, but it's happened like twice in all recorded history. However, to my great surprise and joy, this title is great. Like, it's not perfect, but it's definitely at least as good as any other Elder Scrolls or Fallout game. But not only does it work great, it looks phenomenal. The new facelift this thing has been given is spectacular, yet still incredibly recognizable. The reason for this is that it's a remaster, it's not a remake. In fact, the core game files from the 2006 release are still present in this build. They've basically given everything an incredibly detailed coat of paint and provided a few tweaks to make the combat a little more responsive. If you played the original, this is going to feel like coming home to Cyrodiil. And if you didn't play the original, you need to take some time now to appreciate what it feels like to not have constant back pain, because that shit is coming for you, it's inevitable, and it sucks. Now, something I personally like to do with new titles, especially ones I'm really interested in, is race to see if I can get into the top 50 first Platinum Achievers. Now, I've not had an opportunity to do that for this account, but Oblivion provided the perfect situation to do so because the game dropped at the exact same time for everyone. There was no review copies, there was no early leaks. Everyone was on the exact same playing field. And with the trophy list leaking a day before and looking like one of the easiest RPG lists I've personally ever seen, you know, I thought I had a good shot here. But like seriously, this trophy list is cake. There's no missables, no collectibles, no RNG, don't have to touch any side quests, nothing is tied to difficulty. Like, play through the game, play through the 5 faction lines, and you go past go, you collect $200. So, with all that said and the scene set, please grab yourself a bevy and strap in for an Oblivion Remaster Platinum adventure, alongside one idiot's attempt to get onto a meaningless leaderboard. Oh, hello. Okay. The characters don't look like hideous monstrosities. That's actually really surprising. Alright, cool. I think I'm gonna go Imperial, because we're in the Imperial area. I'll just play basic, bitch. Let's just do that. Oh, hello. Whoa. Okay. So they made all the guys look okay and not hideous, but hello, beautiful. Alright, well, that's an easy choice. Okay, well, at least some things stayed the same. The hair sucks. It's awful. Yeah, alright, that'll do. Perfect. Now, Oblivion starts where all good games do. You're a prisoner for unknown reasons, and Emperor Patrick Stewart breaks you out to go and play in the sewers.
Were right. Gods give me strength.
This doesn't concern your lucky day. Just stay out of our way.
Oh, it may not concern me, but your face concerns me. Yeah.
I'll take point. Let's move.
You stay here, prisoner. Don't try to follow us.
Well, if I can't follow you guys, where am I supposed to... Okay. I guess that's convenient. A rat! Alright, we did it. When we meet up with P-Stew again, he does what any zesty little baby boy would do, and asks us what our star sign is. I think... Okay. I'm gonna be a thief. Let's be a thief. Oh, there's someone behind. Okay. That was pretty preventable, but okay. After that little mishap, we get to pick our class, and I just went with, like, you know, skills I thought would complement a sword and board character. I know that's pretty boring, but that's what I felt like playing. Let's go! Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously? That's gonna take 3 days on my Australian internet. So, with 3 hours more sleep under my belt and a brand new fully downloaded game, we escape the sewers and pop our first trophy. And we're here introduced to the iconic Cyrodiil landscape. Now, while Patricia explores, I'm gonna touch again quickly on the trophy list. There's 51 trophies making up the base game, alongside 10 tied to the Shivering Isles DLC. There's 61 trophies in total. Now, we are going to do the DLC ones, but for now we are focusing on the platinum. So we have 6 main story related trophies, and then for the factions we have 7 tied to the Dark Brotherhood, 9 from the arena, 8 with the Thieves Guild, 10 for the Mages Guild, and then finally 10 for being a fighty girl. So while my liver starts metabolizing the caffeine in my coffee, we're going to start with the arena, which gives you a tasty bit of gold and a semi-decent set of armor to start with. Now, one thing you maybe have heard about Oblivion before is that in comparison to Skyrim, it has much better factional storytelling. And this is an opinion I agree with, but that's not at all present here. The entire arena questline is just win 22 fights and listen to the announcer repeat himself over and over again.
Good people of the Imperial City, welcome to the arena.
That's it, you're done. There really isn't too much to talk about here, so let's just go ahead and eat our veggies before getting onto the main course. Like, what you see here is basically just what you do 22 times and you're done. Hey, announcer, how would you describe fast food workers that give people an extra nuggie for free?
Good people. Good people. Good people.
Yeah, no, I agree. What about goth girls that willingly offer to step on you?
Good people. Good people. Good people.
Good call, good call. What single adjective would you use to describe every single dog that's ever existed? Yeah, look, I don't know how to make this pretty straightforward and mundane questline exciting, so let's just skip near the end, okay? Once we become champion, there's just one more big dick swinger to murder, and he actually offers us a quest, so I figured I'd go bang this out real quick before, you know, helping him into permanent retirement.
What do you mean by that?
The quest was okay, and you do get some permanent skill increases from it, but it also gave the last boss severe nihilism, and he refused to fight back, which did make things slightly anticlimactic. Anyway, there's one of factions done and a nifty set of armor to boot. We are looking a little bit peaky right now though. Ah, that's much better. Now, next off, I actually ended up doing a splash of the Fighters Guild and Mage Guild quests because their introductions sort of have you traveling all over the place. For the purposes of this video though, let's pretend that I did the Mages Guild in one go and we'll do the Fighters Guild after. Sound good? Because if that doesn't sound good, I mean, that's what's gonna happen, so sorry about that.
Did you want something?
Now, before you can join the Mages Guild proper, you have to visit all of their guild halls across the 7 major cities and complete a small quest for the leader of that hall to write you a recommendation.
Don't waste my time.
These are all very basic, but they serve as the building blocks for the quest line. Like the first one here, our guild leader tasks us with fetching a ring from a well, a super simple task. Catch though, the ring is cursed to weigh what a large human does. Doesn't affect Patricia, of course, because she's an absolute beast. She carries it out with ease, and it's revealed that the guild leader was a naughty little necromancer that was actually trying to kill us. The other 6 quests build on that overarching story slightly and flesh it out. Each one takes about 5 to 15 minutes. Once we get them all under our belt, we get to visit the Mages Guild proper and gain the rank of apprentice, as well as some truly stinky robes.
You're ugly, you're disgusting, I'm gonna kill you.
The next few missions involve being sent off to go do mundane easy tasks that always take a turn for the worst as we encounter more and more necromancers. Now you may at this point start to formulate an idea as to what faction our Mage Guild antagonists belong to. And you'd be absolutely right, it is hooded people that use melee attacks against us. So, not long into this questline, I actually came across like a really decent sword, which made me decide to go and do a few side quests for some quality of life improvements. Now these aren't necessary for the platinum at all, and though I was trying to get, you know, like a quick completion time for the leaderboards, I really love Oblivion, and I was hungry to dive into some of the more memorable questlines that were, you know, wriggling around in the back of my noodle. So, first off, we go here-ish to find an NPC for us that's holding a sword and armor upgrade, as well as helping us activate the Dark Brotherhood questline that we're going to touch much later on. Next up, we do a quest with this tasty little piece to unlock a house that we can use for storage. We go off to find a Daedric prince and complete the quest for her, involving some vampires that have a very specific need.
I need your blood! Blood! I need your blood!
And for the last little optional thing, we go and meet up with another Daedric prince to recover her eye that is being guarded by an incredibly determined bear.
Surprise, motherfucker.
This gives us a lockpick that never breaks, so we can crack into every, you know, lock chest we find. Returning to the Mage Guild questline now, and we're doing magey things, like investigating alien ruins, knocking around necromancers, investigating alien ruins, and indulging some violence with vampires. Before things start to kick off with the necromancer feud, as we find out 2 senior wizards have made off with some artifacts, and guess who gets tasked with bringing them back? Now the first wizard got himself killed like a big old dickhead, so we grab the helmet off him and head off to the second one, who joined up with the bad guys like an even bigger dickhead. Our reward for reclaiming these artifacts, because they belong in a museum, is our penultimate mage rank. We do some more magey stuff that involves investigating an alien ruin and knocking around necromancers, before we go full circle by coming face to face with the silly boy that tried to drown us in a well at the very start of our magical adventure. With him killed, a MacGuffin collected, and a cheeky crash, we return to the Archmage, who sacrifices himself in a really perfect Bethesda game fashion. We finally meet up with the guy who had been building up the necromancers all this time. This handsome chap monologues at us for a bit before we magic him to death with our sword. And then less than a week after joining the guild, we are promoted to its leader. All hail Patricia, the archmage that casted, I think, 3 different spells. Moving right along now to faction number 3, and the Fighters Guild actually has a pretty funny play on the RPG character goes and kills low-level creatures trope that introductory quests generally do. You see, we get told to go take care of a rat problem, but this NPC wants us to save her precious rats. So I thought that was kind of funny. Now, it does sort of follow the Mages Guild a little bit in terms of, like, you're just sort of completing a few simple tasks before you get to the sexy part of the faction storyline. Also, these guys just absolutely love sending you all over the place. Like, here I get a promotion from this guy, and then we travel to another city to be told that I actually needed to go back to the city I just was at. And then the leader of the Fighters Guild asks me to go talk to the promotion guy again, who then sends us to another city. Like, come on now. Along these quests, we start to encounter another mercenary group called the Blackwood Company, and they've been undercutting the Fighters Guild and taking on, less than savory jobs. However, Mordrin tells us what to think about that group for now.
Blackwood Company. Never mind.
We keep doing jobs for him, including one in an oppressively poisonous ruin that he seemed to be thriving in.
Good to meet you.
And then we get our first reminder that Oblivion is nearly 20 years old.
We don't have time.
You said we don't have time. It's night time. Like, can you at least lift the knees? Lift the knees just a little bit. Ah, fuck's sake. This is the longest hill. Oh my god, we're nearly there. We've nearly done it. You and me, Mordrin, we did this together. 10 minutes is what it took. But we're going to get to the next ruin. Bro, we did it! After nearly an entire in-game day, we reach a different ruin and fight our way through for our next promotion. We do a bunch more shit kicking for the Fighters Guild, saving kittens from burning orphanages, fighting savage trolls, getting promotions, collecting all the pine cones, and we finally become a champion, which leaves us one rank left to achieve. It's here that the story actually starts to get pretty interesting. So first we have to go and capture a senior ranking member of the Blackwood Mercenary Co., and we then expertly interrogate him to get some information.
Wish I could. I like that. You're good.
After revealing some info to us, he takes a medieval cyanide pill. We then have to go and infiltrate the company by joining up with them to take down some goblins. But before we can get there, they force us to take some Argonian LSD. When we wake up from our trip, we find the village full of goblins, but they're all like bizarrely passive for some reason. By the way, did anyone ever see that Men Against Fire episode of Black Mirror? That was such a good episode, I really enjoyed it. Now the next and final step of the Fighters Guild is just to go ahead and massacre all of the Blackwood boys. So it's good we got all that information and, did all that subterfuge. For fully embracing the capitalist spirit of taking down a rival company, our reward is promotion to CEO of Fighters Guild Incorporated, marking 3 of the 5 factions completed. So our next target is the Thieves Guild, which requires us to visit an unassuming backyard at midnight, where we are given a test to steal a specific item before our 2 competitors can.
We may be thieves, but we're not murderers.
One of which seem to know exactly where to go, so we just follow them until we reach the destination, and then we juke them out with an absolutely filthy slipstream.
Thief!
You're goddamn right.
Now the Thieves Guild has a unique mechanic where you have to steal enough wares to reach certain thresholds before you can unlock the next quest. So I figured I'd just knock all this out with one late night shopping trip to reach the 1000 gold required for all quests. The next quest involves a little bit of Robin Hooding, and then the subsequent one was actually pretty funny. So we have to steal a statue that's being watched by guards, but we're a heavy armor wearing sword and board gamer, so sneaking isn't really our strong suit. And the Thieves Guild's whole thing is like, you're not supposed to kill people. So instead, we just draw the guard out and the other guards kill them for us, which keeps our hands completely clean.
And modern problems require modern solutions.
The next few quests involve using our expert sneaking ability to ensure we're never seen while perfectly pilfering our pervade purposes thanks to Patricia's deft hands. Eventually we get promoted to Shadowfoot and start being given tasks directly from the guild leader, the elusive Mr. Grey Fox himself. He tasks us with securing various artifacts for a big old heist that he is planning, including an item from a high-ranking court wizard that we have to battle to get past. However, because we are the Archmage of the Mages Guild, he was just like, alright, well, hey boss, what do you need? The Grey Fox then requests some super cool new sneakers that kindly get donated to us. And finally, with everything ready, we get tasked with stealing the Declaration of Independence. Now we flex our stealth skills one last time for the Thieves Guild here, and we infiltrate the Royal Palace. And when we get to the blind monks that are guarding the Elder Scroll, they literally just hand it to us because they mistook us for someone else. Because in this world, the most important artifacts that exist are being guarded by blind monks. Our reward for the heist is promotion to Guildmaster, and more importantly, the Grey Cowl itself. This is a super cool item because it changes your identity to the Grey Fox whenever you wear it, which means when you commit crimes with this hood on, they get attributed to the Grey Fox, and when you take the cowl off, no one conflates you and the Grey Fox as the same person. This is a very useful item for someone that's about to undertake a whole lot of murdering. The Dark Brotherhood has you join an elite cabal of murder fetishists. So to start this off, we visit a secluded inn and butcher a defenseless sleeping victim to prove that we're a complete badass. Then, being completely metal, we decide to sleep in the exact same inn, to be visited by the Boogeyman, who tasks us with finding the secret Brotherhood hideout and trying not to accidentally cut ourselves on the very edgy door. Our new happy family sets us to work to go and kill a pirate, and just for funsies, we kill his entire crew as well. Next up, we teach someone the importance of having your mountings and fastenings inspected annually by a qualified safety inspector. Then we go ahead and infiltrate our starting base to kill a prisoner and make a clean getaway. Okay, so this next one is actually kind of cool. So we break into a bandit hideout and we replace their boss's medicine with poison. The poison for Roderick's poison. After that, we actually get to do what is my personal pick for the best quest in the entire game. So basically, you and 5 others are invited to a house hiding a huge gold reward for whoever can find it. However, the gold doesn't actually exist, and it's all a ruse for you to just go ahead and murder everyone. There are a lot of different approaches here, from running in and just systematically killing them, or you can like convince them to turn on each other, you can poison them. I actually arrived at nighttime when most people decided to have a little bit of a snooze, so... Eventually, we get promoted to Assassin and receive a letter from a secret admirer who turns out to be our friendly sleep paralysis demon, who tasks us with purging our new family. No honor among assassins, I guess.
Night Mother, I beg your mercy.
Releasing our pals from their mortal coil awards us a new rank up and the honoured privilege of receiving jobs from dead drops from now on, which, as everyone knows, are completely secure and tamper-proof ways to contract an assassin. The second dead drop has us murdering an entire family, the matriarch of which actually gives us the location for all her children, just because obviously she wanted to make it nice and quick.
Each child's location. Now please go. Take that. Done.
And the next 4 dead drops following that are honestly all pretty straightforward and inconsequential, so we're just gonna, you know, push on through those. Eventually, we meet up again with our friendly neighborhood Dark Eater, who informs us that we've actually been killing the wrong people. And crazily, someone has been intercepting our dead drops. I don't know, maybe you could have just fucking told us who you wanted us to kill instead of being fucking coy, you absolute drongo. So we go and do some investigationing to see who's been playing silly buggers with us, and we return to our friend to find he's been ritualistically slaughtered by the last remaining Brotherhood members. Before we can get upset about this, they do promote us, so no harm, no foul. Our last task is to go and watch a statue bust a sick move before one of our brothers turns on us and tries to murder an apparition.
Do not let him harm the Night Mother. Kill him.
We then have a quick chat with Night Mummy, who promotes us to the highest Brotherhood rank and marks for us all faction quest lines complete. Now that we've collected faction leadership positions like they are Pokemon, it's finally time to start the main story quest, which kicks off pretty intensely straight away as we find ourselves in the ruined husk of one of the great cities. It's recently been attacked by a horde from the Daedric Plain via way of an Oblivion Gate. This is the introduction to the main mechanic we're going to be tackling over the course of the main story in traveling through these gates to close them. I personally really love the oppressive and dark atmosphere of the Oblivion Gates, especially in contrast to the beautiful Cyrodiil forests. There's something so immersive about like teleporting to a demonic realm from a lush, vibrant nature scene, and the atmospheric storytelling here really sets the stage for the stakes at play. Anyway, enough of that. We make our way to the Sigil Stone, which is tethering the gate to Cyrodiil, and removing it forces the gate to close and grants us our first story trophy in about 20-ish hours of gameplay. We make our way into Kvatch to meet up with Sheen Bean, the bastard son of the Emperor. Also, a guy that just cannot stand not being the center of attention. We move Sean Bourne to a secret Blades hideout that is being watched by a small militia of bros that have been doing sweet fuck all this entire time. And then we set out to go and re-secure the Amulet of Kings Patrick Stewart gave us that we immediately lost. So we track down a Daedric cult and assist them with their rite of cleansing. And then we steal their Bible, which we give to Shane Bane for some light religious reading. That leads him to request a Daedric artifact. Now, this next part of the story is completely optional. So basically every single city has like a big fat Oblivion Gate open in front of them, and they won't send you any reinforcements unless you single-handedly go and close them. You don't have to do this, but personally I like the Oblivion Gates, and it does make an upcoming fight a bit more thematic to have soldiers from all the different city-states there. So the next few hours we spent doing some Daedric purification. Anywho, I'm not gonna show like all of these, like they all go the same way, you get the point. Once we've been backed up by an entire 1 to 2 men per city, yeah, it was totally worth doing that. We now enact Shoonboon's plan to summon a great gate, which leads to my favorite sequence in the game. Cue the epic speech.
Soldiers of Cyrodiil, the Empire will stand or fall.
Alright, cut the epic speech, it was awesome. Well done, Shane. Now, this fight, while we wait for the Great Gate to open, it's actually nonsense. Because the guards all move as this like congealed mass, and I was constantly terrified I'd hit one of them, which would just aggro everything in a 3-mile radius, so I kind of just like ran around the outside swinging when I could. Eventually, the big boy opens up and we go in solo to shut her down. The last Oblivion gate definitely sets a more epic scale, but, you know, it closes the exact same way all of the others had. So when we get back out, it turns out Martin was far less scared of accidentally aggroing the guards than we were, leading to the absolute best sequence that happened in my entire playthrough. Yeah, it turns out Martin just absolutely solos. Back at the Blades hideout, and Martin goes to open a portal to the big bad guy for us. However, before he can, one more challenger tries to put a stop to his relentless rampage of blood. I just want to point out at this point that Joffrey here is the most senior Blade and values protecting the Emperor's bloodline higher than anything. Or, like, at least he's supposed to. I love Bethesda AI. It genuinely makes for the best storytelling. Martin finishes him off with an insane move, totally unbecoming of a priest, and then opens up our gateway to Paradise, which is hiding the sneaky sneak that stole the Amulet of Kings. Here we have a truly spectacular endgame showdown with the final boss of the main story. Or not. Look, in fairness, the story isn't actually about us. It's actually about C and Bian, and he gets to actually have a true final boss showdown by turning into a motherfucking dragon. This shit was so crazy hype. Like, can you even comprehend the thought of having dragons in an Elder Scrolls game? That... oh, unreal. Anyway, turns out Martin had to sacrifice himself to become Dragonborn, leading the Empire without an heir, and closing the game with a cutscene showcasing how incredibly beautiful this remaster is. More importantly though, it grants us the Champion of Cyrodiil trophy for finishing the main story, and finally the Worldly God Platinum trophy. But wait, there's more. As I said earlier, we have an additional 10 DLC trophies tied to the Shivering Isles expansion, a DLC that I personally have never played before, but have heard nothing but incredibly high praise for. And after playing it for a bit, it's very easy to see why. The whole expansion is not only chock full of content, but the whole thing just feels like a reward. Like, there's nothing here that just serves to pad out the time spent. It's all super engaging, varied, and most importantly, fun. The DLC starts off with a bizarre Alice in Wonderland type sequence where we travel through a strange door and are greeted by the personal assistant to the mad god Sheer-Gorath, who tasks us with meeting the titular character to become their champion. After a brief walk through the gorgeous scenic countryside, we meet up with the aptly named gatekeeper that we can't even damage. That is, of course, until we come back with a MacGuffin. Now, we get told we can travel through mania or dementia, representing the two different sides of the coin of madness. The best way to summarize how the game views these is...
the lands of mania are bright. The lands of dementia reflect the darker side.
Because we're Mrs. Brightside, we hop on through mania and soon meet up with Mr. Madness himself, who gives us the most enjoyable quest I'd played in the game so far. So we go through a dungeon fighting these weird little dudes and meet up with a hermit at the end, who tasks us with putting a trio of adventurers through a gauntlet. In each of these rooms we get the option to mess with either their mental or physical health. Obviously, one of those sounds way more fun than the other. So, in this first room, we make this gnarl enemy a huge apparition, which causes one of them to have an existential crisis. The next room houses a hoard of treasure locked securely in a cage. So, we drop them hundreds of thousands of keys, which completely breaks the second adventurer. Also, fun fact, none of those keys open the gate. Now this last room is really, really stupid. We just convince this determined orc that he died, and then we return him to his body, giving him imposter syndrome within his own shell. The next Shivering Isles task is to become a member of both the Courts of Mania and Dementia by doing a small task for the Duke and Duchess respectively, to become a madman. Then, a little bit later, we set a brazier on fire to become an honoured madman. Look, yes, I am being a little cryptic and brief about these quests and trophies, and there's two reasons for that. One is this DLC is absolutely spectacular, and it's an experience I strongly encourage you to go through yourself. I don't want to spoil the most enjoyable and interesting moments for anyone, because I got to experience them without them being spoiled. The second reason, which you may have already noticed, is this video is getting very long, and I'm not entirely sure how many of you guys I still have with me at this point, considering we already got the platinum. So instead, let me show you these last few trophy pots, and then I'm going to show you exactly where we ended up on the leaderboards after finishing Shivering Isle. So we managed to grab the 5th platinum placement for the game, around 23 hours after we started, and then completing the DLC grabbed us the 3rd 100% achiever, as well as the 3rd fastest total time to do so, though I do expect that record to be beaten soon. Now, all of these scores are of course through PSN profiles, so it may not be representative of the entire trophy hunting population, but it's enough to get an idea, and I was pretty happy with the placements. So if you watched this video all the way through, then I want to sincerely thank you and tell you how grateful I am that you spent so much of your time with content I created. If you'd like to see more speedrunning stuff like this, or, you know, you just have different games you'd like me to put my idiot Aussie spin on, then please leave a comment down below. If you're hungry for more platinum videos, I do have a growing playlist in the description available for you, but for now, thank you again, and I hope to see you very soon next week for what is the most bleak game I have ever played in my life. Ciao!